I recently shared that when I was in my early 20s, I was a passionate magician. I loved it. Unfortunately, I was pretty good at it too. But I came to a crossroads when I was around, 22. An entertainment promoter contacted me and made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I'll tell you what that offer was and the surprising answer I gave him shortly. But before that, I want to tell you who this video is for. After all, I'm going against the grain here by saying, don't follow your passion. If you're looking to achieve financial freedom, giving you the time to do what you want to do, then following your passion could be the worst thing you ever do. And I've got the numbers here to prove it, but fear not. I have an idea that if you choose to implement it, can have a double benefit of propelling you to financial freedom faster and making your retirement more fulfilling than you could ever imagine. I mentioned in a video recently the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with, something like that. Well, this video is about reaching financial freedom. This is for someone that wants to be above average, stepping outside of their friend group to really start planning for their future. This isn't common and it certainly isn't average. So if that's you, you're in the right place. So while I was planning this video, I went to the obvious place to research. It's a thing called the internet. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend you check it out. Something tells me one day we're all going to be using it. I wanted to know whether there are any passion professions out there that could actually make you wealthy. And after my initial search, I honed it in on the following passion professions and wanted to see what percentage of people in these specifically were able to earn more than the average income. And this was interesting. The exact percentages of people who can make a living from their passion in these fields can vary depending on what country they're in or the industry conditions. But it's widely recognised that only an infinitely small percentage of people in passion-driven careers achieve incomes higher than the national average. The first one I investigated was obviously that of being a magician. That was my passion more than 30 years ago. And I have to admit, I was surprised. Between 5 to 10% of magicians earn more than the national average globally. I thought that number was high, but then thinking more, realised that it was different to the other professions listed here. For example, if you're a footballer, the last one on this list, you can't really go and supplement your income by playing for one more football team. With magic though, like I used to do, you can spend your weekends working children's parties or doing something that used to be called table hopping. I'm sure it's called something different now, but that's basically where you go to a function or dinner and go around the tables doing tricks. So if you're half decent at magic and happy to work, then I can see how you could make money as a magician. But to be clear, that doesn't put you in the same ballpark as David Copperfield, David Blaine or Dynamo. Basically, doing children's parties will not launch you into financial freedom anytime soon. So to being an actor, this number was much lower at between 2 to 5%, earning more than the national average, but only an infinitely small number of actors become household names or are able to land regular roles in shows. I remember hearing a joke a while ago, which was, what's the one line actors need to learn?
Do you want fries with that?
So I don't think anyone really plans to be an actor to get wealthy. I think people look at that profession as a chance of fame. The US Bureau of Statistics states that the average actor in America earns around $25 an hour. And that's in the hours that they're working. Then there's the singer. I thought singers would be a higher percentage than actors because they can get gigs in bars and stuff like that. But no, the data says only 2 to 3% earn more than the national average. That number has likely plummeted in recent years. Now we aren't going out buying LPs and CDs. We turn to something more like Spotify. I use YouTube Music, for example, to stream music, meaning that artists now earn a tiny income from that source. Now, to make money, they need to play live and sell merchandise. I think it's a tough career. Not everyone can perform magic or learn lines to act, but almost everyone thinks that they can sing. Take me, for example. I think I can do a mean Neil Diamond impression. Fortunately, the only person that would ever have to hear that would be my wife, Sarah, if I leave the shower room door open. Then there's the novelist or writer. This one really interested me because one day I'm going to write a book for pleasure. Thank goodness I only want to do this for pleasure though. Do you know only 1 to 3% of writers make more than the national income? Yes, Stephen King and J.K. Rowling income these days, I think, but you know, the average author can expect to make no more than $15,000 a year in America or £12,000 in the UK. The last one on the list is footballer or a soccer player for our US cousins out there. Well, only 1 to 2% of them make more than average. Players in the Premiership in England or La Liga in Spain can earn astronomical sums of money, but you only have to drop down a league or two to find players earning a lot less. And obviously the shelf life of a footballer is 10 to 15 years where they can earn their most. So that's a very, very precarious profession indeed. The reality is that most people in these fields either supplement their income with other jobs or are in that top 1 to 5% of performers who truly break through to the high earnings. So coming back to something I mentioned at the start of this video, an entertainment promoter made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and that was a full-time magic gig working in a hotel in the UK. The pay on offer was fantastic, and who knows where I could be now. I could be a superstar performer with my own TV series and now performing nightly on the Las Vegas Strip. Though I refer you back to the numbers, I think the chances of that would be infinitely small. So anyway, what did I do? Well, my day job was IT. And at the time I worked for a leading edge systems house involved in brand new technology. I could either keep doing that or take this magic gig. Probably the right decision would have been the magic. Chuck everything in the air, give notice I'm a stable job, go buy some new doves, some linking rings and start practicing to swallow swords and cut random people in half. But I was far too scared to do that. So you know what I did instead? I turned down the offer, continued in my IT profession and actually fell out of love with magic all at the same time. I realised that my passion for magic was becoming my job as well. I think because of that, my passion for it just disappeared. See what I did there? A little magic quip for you. But seriously, I fell out of love with magic overnight. I confused passion with making an income. I know that I'm not everyone. We all respond differently to events that happen in our lives, but there is an analogy here. If I had taken the magic route to financial freedom, that would have been the moonshot, a 1 in a million chance that I could be rich and famous as a magician. Now, just take a moment to list out all the rich and famous magicians you can name. Not many, eh? The analogy? Well, if you search the internet for opportunities to get rich quick, you'll get plenty of hits. But building wealth is different. It takes work, discipline, and confidence to build towards that. The average Brit, did you know this? They spend more than $250 a year on the lottery and Euro Millions. And in the US, the average player spends $300 on the Powerball. Now, the chances of winning $1 million on the national lottery in the UK is about 7.5 million to 1. And in the US, the chances of winning the Powerball are around 11.5 million to 1. So people are spending that money on a moonshot. I guess it's money that they're spending to dream, I get that. If the money was invested though, in 10 years, it'll be worth around £4,000 or $5,000. Yeah, that isn't huge, but I'll be talking in more detail about the effect of compounding investments in a coming video. And that's where the real dreaming can start. This is why I think following your passion to reach wealth is terrible advice, but you should follow your passion. But just not to get wealthy. Do it to enrich you in other ways. Who knows, you could turn your passion into a side hustle at some point, keeping it under control so that you don't kill the love for it like I did. But earning money, doing that as a side hustle on top of your day job may well propel you to financial freedom sooner. Then when in retirement, you have the time to take that passion to a whole new level, devoting the time to it. My brother, he's a tinkerer. He loves to build and fix things. He'll soon be retired and it will give him the time he wants to recondition an old pinball machine he bought years ago. I bet he can't wait to start really following his passion here. My wife and I, Sarah, our passion and dream has always been travel. And that's what we do now with our time. We're financially independent and traveling the world full time. This video is part of a series on the building blocks to reach financial independence to enable you to retire early if that is what you want to do. Now, be sure to subscribe and ring that little notification bell so you don't miss the rest of this series. You know, if you watched this video next, I think that would be magic. Alternatively, as I add to this series, you'll see a playlist for all those videos right here. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.